Good afternoon. I'm Julia Brown, your National Board Chair. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're honored also with the presence of several of the members of our Racial and Social Justice Working Group. Now, just as a reminder, that working group has two goals. One, to promote understanding that diversity, inclusion, and equity are business imperatives for organizational sustainability and to promote use of diversity, inclusion, and equity resources at the member level. And two, to create a campaign to bring information to the membership about the proposed vote to change the education requirement and why it's being proposed. The working group, just as a reminder, is comprised of the 5 past national board presidents and chairperson, several former and current national board members, and several national committee chairs. Today, we're also joined by several national board members that are going to be participating in the town hall. We've got, of course, our vice chair, Melinda Gall, Dot McLean, former national board chairs Ruth Sweetser and Sandy Bernard, Sherry Sorokin, our board secretary, and board member Edwina Martin. I don't think I missed any board members, but you can see on your screen the variety of members, national committee members, national committee chairs who are also joining us today. Just a couple of ground rules to help facilitate our session today. We're not going to be using the raise hand function today. If you have questions that are technical, that is, you have some problem with Zoom, you can't see, you can't hear, Zoom is doing something it's not supposed to be doing, then put those questions in the Q&A box. And then if you have questions about the actual issue of the proposal to change the bylaws, then put that question in the chat box. As you know, voting starts next week on April the 7th and runs through May, is it 17th? And in addition to electing directors to the national board and voting on updates to the public policy priorities, as I just noted, we'll be voting on a very important issue, and that is whether to change the open membership, or whether to change the education requirement and thereby open membership. We'll also be talking today about get out the vote efforts to ensure that every member's voice is heard. And I will ask, well, we're going to do a poll, basically a straw poll. And the question is, do you support open membership? And the possible answers are yes, no, or undecided. And Nichia is going to post that poll now. So you should see on the screen that question, do you support open membership? And please vote yes, no, or undecided. And then at the bottom of that, submit will light up, and press that to submit your vote for the straw poll.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for participating in that. It looks like we're at about 66% yes in support of open membership, about 15% do not support open membership, and about 20% of our folks here are undecided today, which is very interesting. Thank you all for participating. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dot and Melinda.
Thank you, Julia. Hello, everyone. So I have a few things to tell you about. The purpose of the town hall first is to encourage you to vote to eliminate the degree requirement. to ask your help in encouraging everyone you know to eliminate the education requirement, to give you an opportunity to hear again the principal reasons why we support dropping the education requirement, and for those of you that seem to be on the fence or opposed to it, to try to help you understand why this is so important to eliminate this degree requirement. The main reasons that we support dropping the educational requirement are several. One is it will give us a diversified background. There is a disconnect between what our mission stands for and our exclusivity in requiring a degree requirement to be part of that mission. So that's been a problem for a long time. It would give us diversity in background. We'd give women from different segments that would have different points of view, and that's always a good thing to have more minds on things. Younger women tend to not like the elitist context of our organization, so it puts them off. So that's an issue for us. And one big one is that a lot of corporations and foundations, they will not fund organizations that don't have diversity and equity policies in place. And we don't have that right now, so we could be missing out on a lot of money that way. The key point, I think, is that we are marginalizing a large segment of women that could really be true allies and assets to our mission. Education comes in many forms, not just a college education. There's technical schools, there's on-the-job training, and all of the women in these careers that choose these careers and choose not to go to college can add a voice to ours and can really move our mission forward. And we're not allowing them to be part of that. And they face the same sort of equity issues that we do. So that is the key point, and I am going to pass it over to my colleague Melinda to tell you a little bit more about our resources.
Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here today. I want to tell you that on our website is a lot of information about this point. As you know, the board has taken the position in support of eliminating the education requirement. So the information that we have is information about why we made that decision. There are testimonials from longtime members. There's a toolkit that you can use in your states and branches. There's just a lot of information. If you don't know exactly where to find it, go to the AAUW website. I just type in national election and it'll get you to where you need to be. I want to thank all the states and branches that have been holding town halls. In addition to the ones that we're doing nationally, board members and staff members have been participating in various states where they're holding town halls. Many of those states have also recorded those town halls and posted them on their website. I can think of one particularly, New Jersey, so that you have also those resources to go to if you want to see a discussion. Usually they have a presentation and then they have the discussion of the members. So there's a lot of resources out there, and we want to thank those branches and states for holding these town halls. Now remember, voting starts April 7th. You will receive an email that will allow you to vote. But here's the thing. If you do not have your email on file with AAUW in the correct form, like if you use an email when you register for things that you don't normally use, that's the one it's going to get sent to. So if you have an email you want to receive your voting email on, then you need to go on the website, you need to change that and make sure that we can reach you. If you don't have an email, you'll receive a mailed ballot. And if you prefer to have a mailed ballot, you need to request that from National. So all of this is going to begin next week, April 7th, and it's going to continue through May 17th. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I guess, back to Shannon.
Great, thanks, Melinda. And next up, we have Sandy Bernard, who's going to tell us a little bit about Get Out the Vote efforts.
Can we have the slides up? There we go. There we go. Just to start out, I wanted you to raise your hand if you were involved in the Get Out the Vote effort in November in your community. Let's see. I would guess, I can't see, but I would guess that we have a very informed audience out there. And you know that to get out the vote is important for the simple fact that many eligible voters don't cast a ballot. That means that those who do cast a ballot have increased leverage. In our 2018 AAUW vote, 20% of the membership voted. But what we want to do this year is to increase that percentage substantially by turning non-voters into voters. We want and we need a really big turnout. And remember, it takes 2/3 vote to pass an amendment. So this means we need a strategy. And here are some ideas on how to build your Get Out the Vote campaign. I want you to take away at least 5 ideas. So I have to talk really fast. Okay, next slide. Educate your members. AAUW members pride themselves on being informed. And here are a few things you can start with. Try to have a theme. Your vote is your voice, and Vote Your Voice were really popular this year, so people will recognize them. And my favorite, though, is Vote Susan Wood, and that means Susan B, because she treasures the vote as much as you do. Utilize the Open Membership Toolkit. It really has a wealth of things that you can cut and paste and send on to your members. Try posting board member Karen Kirkwood's excellent 4-minute video. It's on YouTube. You can pick it up and you can post it right on your own site. And use the members' voices video that's in the toolkit. Send postcard reminders or an email blast reminding people that the vote is coming up. And do share the posts that you see on the National AAUW Facebook group. The first one is up today, and when you see it, please repost it. We want to reach as many people as possible. So speaking of postcards, we'll have the next slide. This is a postcard that's been developed by AAUW Missouri, and it's adaptable by simply putting your state's initials in and changing the return address and the signature on the back. This will be sent to every Missouri branch and national member today. It's a wonderful idea, and it's a reminder that you really want to try to reach out to the national members too. So now we'll see the back of the postcard. Maybe. There we go. Thank you, Nakia. So you can see one of the things that I really like about this postcard is that it also mentions the fact that we are also going to be voting on the 2021-23 public policy priorities. And we've focused so much on open membership that sometimes I think we've forgotten that we're electing national board members, and we're also voting on public policy priorities, which will drive our advocacy for the next 2 years. You'll be able to access, everyone will be able to access this particular postcard on the Open Up AAUW website. We'll give you that address in a minute. Okay.
Andy, can you speak a little louder?
Sure. Turn up my mic a little. Is that better? Is that a little better?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let's go on to the next. Also, you have Pennsylvania's comprehensive Get Out the Vote plans, and they're available to you as well on the Open Up website. Each area that they have there, social media, website, events, and branch programming, each area is just full of great practical ideas that states and branches can use. I particularly like the idea of the April small groups, and that those come after their town hall and enable people who are maybe not so comfortable talking in large groups to ask their questions that they might still have or air their concerns. I also like the idea of the member stories campaign, because what is there a person among us that doesn't have a member story campaign about our open membership requirement, or our membership requirement? I certainly do. My mother worked as a store clerk, a secretary, and a bank teller for years to put both my father and I through college. My father came out with a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate, and I came out with a bachelor's. Unfortunately, my mother couldn't join AAUW because she only had 2 years of college. So everyone has a story, and it's not just about my mother, it's about all those wonderful women out there who really do want to join us. The other thing that I thought was great was their message to everybody about branch programming, in terms of creating an atmosphere where you not only can share your thoughts, but also your feelings and your questions around the change, and be respectful during the discussion. A special shout out to Jordan Glover, who is the DEI chair who developed this plan. And you'll be able to contact her. We'll put her email in the chat. A special shout out to all of those state DEI chairs, because they have been really helpful in our efforts. And finally, we get to the voting time frame. The next slide, there we go, which is, as they've said, April 7th to the 17th. And try to use some of these techniques. Even if your state or your branch sets a specific vote day, send a few reminders during the voting period so we can get as many members as possible to vote. You can send a membership matters message daily. I wouldn't advise that. I think it's probably infrequently, but at least to jog people's memories to get in there and vote. Have a vote party, plan to have a vote party on Zoom. My favorite one is vineyards and voting, where you can enjoy your favorite beverage, vote, and take a photo of to memorialize your vote. Try using phone banking or a phone chain. A phone chain is as old as I am. So if you'd like to reach a younger audience, you might try text messaging. And finally, as Melinda said, make sure that your email is correct in the membership database. It's a membership right and a privilege to vote on all of these things that we're voting on. So please get out the vote and have some fun doing it. And finally, add your name to the hundreds of supporters who endorse open membership. Your email will not be used, but the list will be shared on AAUW's social media sites, and as well as possibly being emailed to targeted groups of AAUW members. So take a look and add your name, and then send your friends to the site. Every past national president supports this change, and we, like you, love this organization. We love it for what we've accomplished and have every hope for a strong, forward-looking future. And last but not least, please join me in the hardworking team of media mavens who are putting together the national social media campaign. Nancy Shoemaker, who many of you know as past president of North Carolina. She's the founder of the virtual Tar Heel branch and a co-founder of the Open Up website that has so much good information for you. Marty Sladek is a member of the Downers Grove, Illinois branch. She is an ardent supporter of the ERA and a civil rights advocate. Kate Skegg is an e-learning professional and social media manager at Dare to Dream, Get Educated. And Charmin Goring Fox is a past president of Maine, holds multiple AAUW leadership positions, and is the team's convener. All four are administrators of the AAUW Facebook group, which has almost now reached 8,000 members. If you are not a member, join today and remember to repost our messages that you see there. That's my egg timer. So I'll say, get out the vote, get going, and we can do it. Thanks so much.
Great. Thanks so much, Sandy. Really appreciate your comments today and all of your hard work on this. So folks, we're about to break out into some breakout groups so we can have some more detailed conversations with a little bit of a smaller group of folks. And I think we are back.
We are back.
Great. So hopefully everyone heard me say thank you to all of you, and I was perfect timing.
I think they did. Julia, did you make it back in for closing?
Yes, I did.
Great.
And we are, gosh, right at the end of our allotment of time. Let me again reiterate my thanks to everybody for joining us today and for joining in the discussion. Please remember to make your voice heard by voting. That opens on the 7th of April and runs through the 17th of May. Share the information with your fellow members to make sure that they know about the vote and that they voice their opinion and exercise their right to vote. I would ask you to please fill out the post-webinar survey and also to check out the upcoming webinars that are listed on the membership page. The national staff has just been doing an amazing job for the last year of producing some, pardon my expression, kick butt webinars with some great information and resources and some amazing panelists and speakers. If you've missed any of those, they're all recorded and all available at AAUW.org. Thank you all again so much for all you do for AAUW. Be safe out there.